She's well out of order.
Because you're trying to cut corners.
Yeah, well, she ain't trained for undercover work, is she?
She's a sergeant.
Yeah, that makes you laugh.
Sign of the times, mate.
You know, I'd love to see what she's putting in for expenses at the end of this.
1 bottle, Australian Chardonnay, per day, times 5.
You know it.
A stabbing?
Yeah, he called it himself on his mobile.
You got a name?
David Creasy.
Right. You guys nearly finished?
Yeah, sure.
David, you understand this? It's the police.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what happened?
Well, I thought he punched me. I was shocked, a bit winded, then I realised.
Who's this we're talking about?
No, never seen him before in my life.
Rough guys. Then what happened?
I was passing by the end of the alley, and I saw a fight, well, more of a beating. 2 guys kicking another guy who was on the ground. I said, knock it off, something like that. I mean, the bloke who was on the ground wasn't resisting. They were just putting the boot in. So I grabbed one of the men just to get his attention.
Yeah.
Well, he swung round, and like I said, I thought he'd punched me.
Yeah. Sierra Oscar 595 receiving.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we're going to accompany the stabbed victim to St Hugh's A&E. Can you inform CID?
There you go, man. It's 150 flat, please. Thank you.
He's definitely coming in.
Well, he usually looks in about this time, yeah.
Because I really need to get myself sorted.
Well, you'll have to talk to him about that. She could at least bring us out a packet of smoky bacon and tomato juice.
Yeah.
That's what my mum used to do when she parked us outside the pub.
Does the governor know how she's handling this?
I don't know, and I don't ask.
Are you all right? He's a good bit of geezer.
No, it's not.
Hello, all right, son, how you going?
Take a walk, come on.
What are you talking about?
Joe, disappear.
All right, slow down, what are you talking about?
Come on, Joe.
What was all that made of?
It's just some fellow I thought might shape up as a nice informant.
What?
Where I was before, I mean, I had all the connections. And down here in London, I'm starting from scratch. And you can't exactly look in the yellow pages, can you?
No.
Is that him?
Look, all I'm saying is, he might be worth talking to. All right? It's up to you.
Thanks.
Stand by.
Yep.
Hi.
Hello.
I understand that you help people out from time to time.
Well, I'm not the Samaritans, darling.
No, I'm talking business.
Well, let's talk privately then, eh? Well, what have you got to say to me?
Well, am I right? Are you doing business?
Well, what are we talking about?
Cash.
No, I mean, what are you asking me for?
What's available? Sorry, I'm making a bit of a pig's ear here. The thing is, I've just moved down here, and where I was before, everything was sorted out for me. And I had friends that took care of things like that. And down here, it's...
When it comes down to his those who don't ask, don't get.
The thing is, it's a bit difficult asking a complete stranger.
Same here.
I mean, it's a bit on the nose, really.
We can deal with that.
Great. Have you actually got something here?
She's eyeballed the gear. Well, would you believe it? And I had her down for a bit of an idiot.
Don't get previous, sweetheart. First we talk about your order, then we'll talk about delivery.
Police! Police! Oh, I'm arresting you for assaulting a police officer and on suspicion of dealing in a controlled drug.
Okay, Dave, now I know you've been through the wars a bit, and I don't want to tie you out with a load of questions, but it's vitally important that we get the impressions while...
Yeah, I understand. Go on.
So, you intervened in an affray on the street?
Yes.
Now, you've already talked to the officer about the man who stabbed you. Can you describe the other men involved?
Not in any detail.
In general terms, what were they, black, white, or Asian?
Both white.
What about their age?
Late 20s, early 30s, both. Beyond that, nothing really registered. Except
what?
The man on the ground, when he tried to get up, he fell again. He couldn't take his weight on one arm. He scrambled up and went off gripping the bad arm.
Okay. Now, for the jackpot, which arm?
Left arm, left.
Were there any other injuries?
Lip bleeding, eye swelling up.
Duncan, try that description out on the A&E here, then try any of the other local hospitals.
Okay. Right, you said the guy that stabbed you was between 40 and 45. Is there anything more you want to add to that?
Blue eyes. I looked into his face.
Okay.
After he struck out at me when I thought it was just a punch. He looked at me as if to say, you don't realise what I've done. And I didn't then. Blue eyes.
Cheers.
And his clothing?
Light jacket, yellow shirt. What they'd call smart casual, I suppose. I mean, we're not talking about some beer-bellied yob with tattoos. He wasn't like that.
This fiasco at the wine bar.
Sir?
It's not the operation I authorised.
Strictly speaking, no, sir.
Not just strictly speaking, by no stretch of the imagination. You came to me and said there was word on the streets that they were dealing drugs there. I said you could go and have a look and report back. Instead of which, you pulled a stroke. You set up an undercover sting operation that went totally tits up.
That's not entirely the whole situation.
Well, that's how it looks to me, and I'm the governor.
Absolutely, sir. And believe me, I share your disappointment.
I don't think I'm getting through to you, Debbie. I'm not disappointed, I'm livid! So what have you got to say for yourself?
Let me put it on the line. At the outset, mistakes were made.
Let's be precise. You mistook yourself for an undercover officer, which you're not. Drug buyers are specially selected and trained so they don't screw up the way you did.
I went outside the rules of engagement, sir. I freely admit that. But I was in hot pursuit. I believed I had an opportunity to get a result. And I used my initiative. I was out of order, and I apologise, sir.
Well, that's a start.
Let's put it down to excessive zeal.
No, I don't think so. Just the opposite. I think you want to win the prizes without doing the homework, and I'm not having it, Debbie. Come.
Do you want to see me, Gov?
I wanted to talk to both of you. I've been having a word with Debbie about another matter.
So I see.
I want to remind you two, and I want it passed on to the troops, that in terms of criminal intelligence, we're at year 0 in Sunhill. A lot of us are new to the ground. We don't have the informants we need. And without them, there's a real danger we might be tempted to cut corners and trip up over our own big feet.
I'm well aware of that, Gov. Which is why I've been networking the local estates, primarily amongst the non-white youths, with a view to a more proactive crime management posture.
Excellent.
Well, I've been finding my feet. But I hope to recruit reliable informants as a collateral byproduct of various ongoing inquiries.
We wait with bated breath.
Gov, could I bring you up to speed with the inquiry into the David Creasy stabbing?
Yeah, of course.
Excuse me, sir?
Right, Vic.
You're Mr. Doble's solicitor.
James Ross, and I'm not a solicitor, I'm an unqualified clerk, and my client and I are baffled by his continued detention.
Well, when you've finished your exams, you'll know that dealing in controlled drugs and assaulting police officers are serious offences.
Actually, I'm not a trainee solicitor, but no matter. Let's look at the dealing accusation first. Mr. Doble was searched at the time of his arrest.
Yes, he was.
And were any controlled drugs found on him?
No.
So the dealing's a non-runner.
Your client assaulted me in the course of my duty.
It's the oldest trick in the book, isn't it? You make an arrest without adequate grounds, and when you realise it's a blowout, you trump up an assault charge.
He pushed her over.
Let's hear Mr. Doble's account of the incident. So, as you told it to me, Mr. Doble?
Well, I went into the wine bar and I was accosted by a woman. A total stranger to me who seemed somewhat deranged in her manner.
This was later revealed to be DS McAllister.
Yeah, well, after the arrest. I mean, I felt sorry for the woman, who seemed to want to do some form of business with me and tried to ascertain what it was she wanted.
Did you offer to sell her drugs?
No.
Did she ask you to supply drugs?
Oh, no, but much later I realised that was what she was rather clumsily hinting at.
Go on.
I asked her what it was she wanted, and at that point, 2 rather rough-looking men burst into the wine bar. They identified themselves as DC Riley and DC Webb.
What was your reaction?
Look, I'm a self-employed businessman. I often carry large sums of cash, as well as a mobile phone, palm-top computer and credit cards. I thought I'd been set up for a robbery. I tried to escape, and the woman who later identified herself as DS McAllister grabbed me and I shook her off.
I shouted police.
Yeah, well, I didn't hear you.
So did you realise you were dealing with a police officer when you pushed DS McAllister away?
No, certainly not. I thought I was a victim of a scam by a bunch of chancers.
I can quite easily see how you'd think that. And I'm sure a jury would agree, if it got that far.
OK, David.
Yeah.
I want you to look at these and tell me if any of these could be the man who attacked you.
All these characters up for stabbing strangers.
I can't say. I don't want to steer you into making an identification. And don't be afraid to say if it's none of them.
That's him. Maybe he's a couple of years older now, but that's the man.
I don't think we'll be taking this any further.
That's the spirit. After all, he'll come again.
Billy Walls. He's well overdue.
Recent criminal intelligence has him in for property fraud and loan sharking. And he's got a form for violence, Gov.
Oh, he fits the frame very nicely. He's a vicious little bleeder when he's roused. How good a witness do you think your man Creasy's likely to be?
Very good, I think. He's articulate, respectable.
Any joy with the original assault victim? The guy who's been attacked when Creasy stepped in?
The hospital's given us a name. Derek Baker. He was in casualty at the right time with the appropriate injuries. Duncan's looking into it now.
Keep on it. Now we've got Billy's name, we've got a bit of a lever.
Gov, I'd really like to pull in Mr. Walls now, while there's still some chance of recovering some forensic evidence.
Yeah, we'll give him a tug, as soon as you get a team together.
You know what bugs me? Well, that prat Doble had to get an envelope out at all. I mean, what kind of drug dealer has to write down his drug order?
One with brain damage.
You what?
Frankie Doble samples the merchandise to excess. He's got great holes where his memory's supposed to be.
Is that right? You've got all the social elite down at your firm, haven't you? This way.
It's like a loan magazine. And it's not my firm. I'm just casual.
So what's a bright spark like you doing? Front-ending scumbags, then? What's your story?
Blimey with strong drink sometime, and I might tell you.
Yeah, I might.
No one home?
Let's hope our Billy's not out dumping the evidence.
Paul!
Hello, Mum.
You were lucky you caught me in, darling. Waiting on your Auntie Meadows to give you a lift to the bingo.
Yeah, I can't stay. Listen. I was shocking my life earlier. I ran into Joe.
The prodigal son.
I didn't know he was back in London.
He turned up late last night. Not a word of warning. Same old Joseph. Of course, I was over the moon to see him.
Yeah. He's not in now, is he?
No, he's out looking for a flat.
He's going to live round here.
Well, I said stay with me. It's only natural. But he wants to get a place of his own. Says he doesn't want to bother me with his comings and goings.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Still, it's great having him around. I thought he'd settled abroad for good and we'd never be seeing him again.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
That's Billy.
Target on plot. Approach with caution. Billy Walls.
Mr. Walls to you, sunshine.
DS Singh, DI Colin, Sunhill CID.
So you're not here for the paper building?
Can you tell me where you were between 12 and 12:30 this morning?
I want my brief.
Would you mind coming down to the station and answering a few questions?
Nah, I'm busy, mate.
Billy Walls, I'm arresting you on suspicion of grievous bodily harm. You do not have to say
I
anything,
know
but it
that.
may harm your
Get my
defence if you
solicitor.
do not
Write
mention
that
when
down.
questioned something.
You keep getting this grief about informants. I mean, you just can't rustle them up out of nowhere.
Keeping you busy, are we?
Little gold mine, this place.
That's good.
Nice fun, though.
One more time, Billy. Where were you between 12 and 12:35 this morning?
No comment.
You do understand the terms of the caution. We can point out your silence to a jury if your defence uses something that you could have mentioned now.
I asked for my solicitor. They've sent me the office boy.
Mr. Ardman won't be available for a matter of hours, that's why I...
That's not good enough. I'm not talking until I get proper legal advice.
In our conference, Mr. Walls made it clear that he doesn't wish to be advised by me on this matter.
So then, on your bike, Sonny, and tell your governor what I want.
For the tape, Mr. Ross and DS Singh are leaving the interview 16:50 at the prisoner's request. Oh, Debbie. See Mr. Ross off the premises for me, would you?
Who knocked you off your perch, then?
I've been binned.
Really? I thought you gave more than enough value for money when you were up against me.
Well, you know what they say in the advertising industry. Let's get down on all fours and look at it from the client's point of view.
I like that. Maybe we should go for that drink and you can tell me your life story.
Tonight?
Why not?
I've got to get back to the office and probably run a couple of errands, but tonight should be fine.
Okay.
Hello? Hello? Derek Baker?
Yeah.
DC Lennox, Sunhill? Suppose I better buy a cup of tea seeing you're so busy, eh? We believe you may have witnessed a serious assault earlier today.
No, I told him at the hospital this was an accident.
No, I'm not talking about your injuries. I'm talking about something even more serious. A man was stabbed.
Nothing to do with me.
Don't worry, I'm not suggesting that you were involved in the assault. In fact, the victim gave a very clear description of the event. And you'll be pleased to know he's doing really well in hospital.
I'll see what it has to do with me.
Who smashed your window?
Vandals.
Not your lucky day, is it? First you have a nasty accident, and then someone smashes your window. Don't know about you, Derek, but I'm not a keen believer in coincidences. Tell me about your accident.
I fell down the steps at the back.
Aye, right, you fell down your stairs. That'd explain your arm, but what about your black eye and your lip? You must be some acrobat, Derek.
What I'm telling you is, I can't help you. Sorry.
Wait, this place is a bit of a headache, cash flow-wise. Do you ever find yourself in need of a loan?
That's my business.
When's the last time you saw Billy Walls?
I don't know who you mean.
OK, so you don't know him at all. No problem. You know I can check that out.
Well, I might have met him. A lot of people come in here.
Do you owe him money?
Can't help you. Sorry.
Did Billy give you a good kicking because you were behind in your payments?
Sorry.
Hey, a man stuck his neck out because he tried to stop a stranger getting the same kind of treatment as you did. He was nearly killed. I think he's owed something. Ah, so the thought of Billy Walls makes you nervous? Oh, don't worry. He's in custody. He won't get to you.
Well, Billy's been in custody before. And out again.
OK. I see where you're coming from. I'll see you later, eh? Thanks for the tea.
Where were you between 12 and 12:30 today?
I was at home.
Can anyone corroborate that?
Yeah. I had a builder round pricing some work for me.
Who was this builder?
Michael Dowling.
And is this person well known to you?
Yeah, he's someone I've used before.
But Billy, you weren't at home. You were in Malham Street at that time, and there you stabbed David Creasy. Isn't that the truth?
No.
I put it to you, Mr. Walls has accounted for his whereabouts fully and frankly, and unless you have evidence to cast doubt on his account, you should release him to let him go about his business.
Here, Duncan.
Sarge.
How's the stabbing going?
Oh, we're making progress.
Think you're going to put this Billy Walls away?
The governor's what you call cautiously optimistic.
He's hanging out for it, he is. The governor. Thinks it will put clear water between him and the old regime.
Debbie, I think he'd just be chuffed to put a prom gnome away.
I think there's reverse discrimination in this department. All the tasty jobs seem to go to Randy Gandy.
Duncan, you get anywhere with the other possible witness.
I'm Baker. There's good news and bad news, Gov.
My office.
Mickey, anyone asked for me, I'm out on inquiries.
Sarge.
What I'm saying is, Derek Baker merely admitted to being Walls' other victim. But getting him to go that one last mile and give evidence, well, that'll take some doing, Gov.
What do you want? Protection?
I'm afraid that's not enough. But if Walls was remanded in custody, that would convince him.
That's a problem.
Well, can't you argue that Walls is a potential threat to witnesses?
The thing is, Duncan, Walls has just come up with an alibi. We're hanging on to him while we check it out, but if it looks kosher, I don't see how we can stop him walking. Do you?
Detective Sergeant Vic Singh, Sunhill CID. You are Michael Dowling?
Yeah.
We are investigating a rather serious assault. A Mr. William Walls has given us your name. He says you can account for his whereabouts at a time that's crucial in our investigation.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know Mr. Walls?
Sure.
Have you seen him recently?
Yep, I saw him earlier today.
And where was this?
At his house. I was there to price a job. He wants He wants his cellar converted into more living space, you know, utility room, games room.
And how long were you there?
20, 25 minutes.
And what time was this?
Just after 12.
So you left at, what, 12:25, 12:30?
Yep.
And Mr. Walls was with you the whole time?
Yep.
What exactly are you up to these days, Joe?
Yeah, basically I'm on the lookout for opportunities, you know. I've always preferred to be my own boss.
Yeah, I remember.
Never got nuts.
I got to tell you, Joe. It was a bit of a shock bumping into you earlier outside that pub. No. It was a bit of a shock almost falling over you outside the wine bar earlier. We're all geared up to do a raid on the place.
It was clean, honest to God. I didn't know it was that sort of place. Anyway, gonna have to rely on you for that sort of local intelligence. Joke. All right. I'm glad to see you getting on in the old bill.
That's nice.
No, I mean it. No, I mean it. You're the sort of guy they need. You understand ordinary people. You know the pressures they're under. I mean, let's be honest. You are ordinary.
Thank you.
Which is why I'd value your advice. Just a little problem.
What sort of problem?
Well, come on. The wise use of discretion is the key to successful policing.
My point exactly. This is right up your street. Little problem, mate, with the police. No, it's all right. It's not Sunhill. It's not even the Met. No, don't look so worried. Drink up. What you having? Come.
Oi. You better not be touching our poor sainted mother for your beer money.
Would I do a thing like that?
All right, I'll show you out.
You are a white man.
Don't push your luck.
I suppose you could say I'm taking a bit of time out. Get myself straight.
You're a bit old for a gap year, aren't you?
Well, you may laugh, but one option might be going to college, doing a degree.
Didn't you get the grades the first time?
Oh, I got the grades all right. Straight A's.
So why didn't you go?
I did. There was this freshers' party when we arrived. And I managed to keep it going for 3 terms. So I was binned after the first year. And then, having found a winning formula, I repeated in one place or another.
Like?
I knocked around a bit. I was a travel rep in Corfu. And then I took off around the world, doing odd jobs, bar work mostly, just to get by.
Brilliant. I'd love to do that. Maybe I will one day.
Not a career copper, then?
After today's sparkling performance, I don't think I should count on it. So, where did you travel?
India, Southeast Asia, Oz. Then I hopped across the Pacific, New Zealand, Fiji, Hawaii, then the States, Mexico.
Sunhill.
Sunhill. Older, none the wiser.
So, what's your game plan now?
Maybe start my own business. Maybe do a degree.
You could do law. You're getting all the experience.
No. Not law. No thanks. Anyway, that's enough about me.
School I went to, the nearest anybody came to making a career choice was getting up the duff. I looked around and I thought, I'm out of here. I wanted to come up to the smoke, and joining the Met got me here without keeping in doorways.
Just a means to an end.
Well, I don't want to live, eat, breathe, sleep the job for 30 years.
No. I can see how you might not want that. I think I might have had my ration of custody sweets.
Something's really got to you, isn't it? Was it Billy Walls? You got blown out by some nasty little scrote. That is no reflection on you.
That's not it.
Well then.
A lot of the work I do, you just treat it like a game. I mean, some guy's in for drunk and disorderly, and he says, what should I do? And his priority is getting home before he's in worse trouble there, so I say go guilty and they'll let you out. I mean, the majesty of the law doesn't come into it.
And then you get to score points from a stroppy little tart from CID.
Yeah, there's moments like that. But Billy Walls was up for knifing an innocent passerby who could have died.
Yeah.
Am I talking to a dinner date or a DS here?
It's not my case, Jamie, and you're not under caution.
I think Billy Walls did the stabbing. And I helped set him up with a false alibi.
How did you do that?
A bit of blackmail.
Nothing on him, Sarge.
No. Well, it was worth a try.
But surely DS Singh would have looked into Dowling's record.
Yeah, he probably did, but he's not here, so I can't ask him, can I?
Yeah, but it's his case, Sarge.
I'm following up information, Paul, to see if my source is reliable or not. And if anything turns up for Vic Singh, I'll let him know. If he's available. W. McAllister. Thanks for getting back to me. It's strictly off the record. It's just a bit of background, really. I was told that Mike Dowling had some trouble on your ground, but there's no record. Ah. I get the picture. Insufficient evidence. Between you and me, what do you reckon? Excellent. That's very useful. I owe you one. Cheers. We're off to see Michael Dowling.
What about DS Singh?
Oh, I'll leave him a note.
You're the sergeant.
I'll meet you by the car.
Thank you. So this snout of yours...
He's not a snout. I got information from a public, spirited citizen.
Yeah, or whatever. He says Walls put the black on Dowling to give him an alibi.
Yes?
Well, how could he? And we had him in custody.
Do you know where you're going?
The only people that had access to Walls were us and his breed.
Head for Canley Street. I'll tell you from there.
You got it off Jamie Ross, didn't you?
Watch it round the corner. There's a speed camera.
If you've been subject to intimidation, Derek, there's only one way it's going to stop. And that's for you to give us what we need to...
That's what he was flogging yesterday. And then you went and let him out.
Did Wallace get in touch with you since he was released?
Look, if you need protection, it can be arranged. But it requires you being straight with us.
Find another hero.
Be a nice property once it's been refurbished, won't it, Michael?
Yeah, well, it won't get refurbished if I keep getting dragged out here to talk to you people every day, will it?
Are you working for developers or for the family that live here?
The family.
So it must be important for them to know they can trust someone who's got the run of their house. How many children in the family?
3. That's why they need the extra bedroom.
Any teenage boys?
No. 2 at primary school and a toddler.
So you won't be taking them for coaching then? I mean, it is teenage boys that you take for coaching.
I'm not involved with that anymore.
No, it all went a bit sour in South London, didn't it? I bet you really miss all those fit, healthy boys helping them with their tackle.
Look, that was a long time ago, and you know it.
I hope so, for your sake. Life could be a bit of a nightmare for a man and his family if a story like that got out.
Well, it never even come to court.
No. But some people have long memories. I mean, I'm sure your solicitors, Ardman and Hobbs, remember it. Did it come up when they approached you about giving Billy Walls an alibi?
What do you expect me to say to that?
You don't have to say anything. But when Billy's case goes to court, we'll be putting the knocking on his alibi, and we'll be saying that we think you were pressured into saying that you were with him. And then your little story with the boys will come out in public.
So what the hell am I supposed to do?
If you weren't with Walls at the time in question, then say so. Say you got the wrong time. Maybe he'll spread the story about you jumping too low in the leapfrog. Maybe he won't. If you go in the witness box for him, it will definitely come out in public. And you'll be up for conspiring to pervert the course of justice. You're in a hole, so stop digging.
I'll see you later, mate.
See you later.
Yes, I will have one of them, please. And... No, go on. That'll be fine. Thank you very much.
I'll see you with the informant last night, Paul.
What's that?
I saw the Nelson.
What, you got me under observation now, have you, Mickey?
No, I was just passing, that was all.
Who told you it was an informant?
I recognise the geezer. There's a bloke you warned off when we did the wine bar.
You want to get yourself a life, Mick. You get serious penalties for stalking these days.
Hang about. If you're running an unregistered informant, it is my business.
How'd you make that out?
I watched this firm come apart because clever sods were making up their own rules. I could have been one of the casualties. I don't expect to get the benefit of the doubt another time.
Look, you're barking well up the wrong tree, Mick. Well, it's a personal matter. End of story.
Yeah? Well, I'll make my own mind up about that.
Let me put it another way to you. Get off my back.
Hi.
Oh, sorry, am I interrupting something, Gav?
No, come in, Vic. You need to hear about this. Sit down. Debbie's pulled our chestnuts out the fire on the Walls case.
How?
Dowling's withdrawn his alibi.
Why?
I had information that Dowling was pressured into corroborating Walls's story. I let him know that we were in the picture, and he backed off.
Gav, am I missing something here? Why did you act on this information? Why wasn't it brought to me?
Because you weren't here, were you, Vic?
Hot pursuit, Vic. I wouldn't want to see investigations stymied by demarcation disputes in the department.
Absolutely not, Gov.
So, all we need to do now is organise an ID parade and pull Walls in again.
Right, Gov. Will do. Unless, of course, Debbie would like to follow it up.
No, no, no. Don't want to steal anyone's glory. Thank you.
Gov. I want a word with you.
Go on, then.
Next time you got information on one of my cases, you bring it to me, right?
Like I said, Vic, it was a judgment call.
Don't give me that. You pulled a flanker just to get back into Colin's good books.
If I did, so what? It worked, and that's what's got up your nose.
Don't flatter yourself. I don't lose sleep over you creaming out to Colin, because I know you're lazy, you're a chancer, and you're not that bright.
Save me the earache.
You pull strokes in your own inquiries, but mess around in my cases again, and I'll have you.
Yeah? You and whose army?
It's all different now, Derek.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Walls has been identified and charged. And when he goes up before the magistrate, we'll be asking for him to be remanded in custody. Then he won't be able to get to you. But if you give evidence that he assaulted you and intimidated you, well, that's a totally new charge, isn't it? He won't be able to get to anyone for a long time. Be your big chance, Derek. Payback time.
Yeah. All right.
Good man.
Your source for the information that broke Wall's alibi. That was a well-spotted opportunity.
Well, one has to be constantly monitoring the environment for exploitable potential in this job.
Yeah. So, what steps have you taken towards recruiting this source as a regular registered informant?
Well, of course, that has been very much in my thoughts. But on mature consideration, I don't think the individual in question is suitable.
These are informants, Debbie. We're not vetting them for the priesthood.
Of course.
This person had intimate knowledge of one professional villain's secret business. The chances are they could help us out with others.
Well, they probably could, yes.
So, make it your priority. Like I said before, without an intelligence network, we're in the dark.
He might not be amenable.
Well, you just have to play him to his strengths and weaknesses. Carrot and stick.
Hi, it's Debbie McAllister. I just popped round on the off chance.
Come on up.
If you've got a bird in, I'll make myself scarce.
If I had a bird in, you wouldn't have got this far.
Seeing as I invited myself round, I thought I ought to bring a bottle.
I can see you've had a decent upbringing.
Yeah, but I don't let it stand in my way.
All right, mate. What are you having?
Nothing, Joe. I'm not stopping. You got the papers? Was this it?
Yeah.
You were arrested in Northampton for breach of the peace, kept overnight and released with no further action.
That's right, yeah. Well, it may be a bit of a laugh to you, but I'm entitled to my civil liberty same as everyone else, you know.
I'm not laughing at you, Joe. It's just I got myself wound up thinking you'd got into something nasty. All right, so what's your story with this?
Well, I got a little bit pissed. Well, more than a bit, fair enough. Anyway, I was supposed to be dossing with this mate of mine. Only I forgot what number his house was. Anyway, so there I am, 12 o'clock, ringing on these doorbells. And some miserable sod must have called the police, so he kept me in overnight and then kicked me arse out in the morning.
No further action?
Yeah, I know, but I said to him, I said, look, why don't you, look me mate up in the phone book and check the story out, but they weren't interested.
Did you get mouthy with them?
Not really. Well, I mean, you have to stand up for yourself, don't you? But that wasn't offensive.
Says that you were nicked for breach of the peace.
Yeah.
Well, the arrest evidence doesn't really support that. I don't think they had enough to hold you.
So I've got a case.
Case for what?
Compensation.
Don't get previous, Joe. I mean, you got grounds to make a complaint, all right, and I can guide you through that if you want, but whether you're going to get a bung out of it is another question, mate. That's way down the line.
Oh.
But there is a leaflet I can get you from the Nick, and it lays out all the complaints procedures for you.
Oh, I'm not a great man for procedures, Paul, you know that. I'm more entrepreneurial. I mean, I just read all this stuff in the papers about people getting shed loads of dosh off the police, and I thought, why not me? I've had the aggravation. But if it's going to be an hassle, I mean, just don't worry about it.
No, it's up to you.
No, I don't want to drive you mad. I'll just put it down to experience. Thanks anyway, mate.
Actually, you're lucky to catch me in.
I realise that, Jamie. A jet setter that you are.
What I meant was, I'm on call. I might be hauled out to some insalubrious cop shop at any moment.
Right, so I better move fast then. Your work at Ardman and Hobbs, it's only casual, really, isn't it? I mean, it's not keeping you in the lifestyle that you'd like to be accustomed.
Like I told you, it's stopgap.
Yeah, but while it lasts, you could probably use some extra cash.
Well, who couldn't?
Ardman and Hobbs have built up quite a tasty little criminal practice over the last few years.
Been researching, Debbie?
What I'm saying really is, a lot of our criminals use your employer's services.
Can't argue with that.
So a lot of information must pass your way.
Much of it privileged client confidentiality.
Yeah, but if Ardman and Hobbs are pulling illegal strokes on behalf of their clients like they did in the Walls' alibi, they're not entitled to confidentiality.
That's a point of view.
So then, Jamie, why don't we do each other some favours? You give me useful tips and I'll give you folding money. And I leave it up to you and your conscience what you tell the taxman.
You want me to become a registered informant?
That's right.
No way, sweetheart.
I might be willing to do the odd deal with you on the quiet, because I think we're on the same wavelength, but there'd have to be a co-handler. And one of your governors would be in the loop as well.
That's right.
Sorry. I'm a cautious man, and that's not my idea of security.
Well, you weren't always that cautious.
What's that mean?
You left a couple of things out of your CV the other night. Like the time you spent with the police.
I was only in a matter of months. Never got out of probation. It didn't suit me.
Required to resign, actually. Following an incident with your car where it was involved in an accident and you claimed it was stolen.
Well, we all do some silly things when we're young.
And then there's all that time you spent in Australia. Would have been a lot less without the 3 months for possession.
You wouldn't expect me to tell you that, Debs. I was chatting up a detective.
Well, I'm flattered that you wanted to impress. But I'm worried for your sake.
Why?
What if one of our custody officers were to check your record? They might decide that you're not a fit and proper person to have access to prisoners. They might use their powers of exclusion to keep you out. And then your little number with Ardman and Hobbs would be down the tubes.
And do I get the sense that you'll try and protect me from that awful fate if I sign on the dotted line?
I'd make it my duty.
Here's to the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
Cheers.